Hi, my name's Amy Marson. I'm the publisher at C&T Publishing, and one of my favorite hobbies is embroidery. And today I wanted to talk to you about one of our new products, the Embroidery Stitching Pocket Guide. What do I love about the Embroidery Stitching Pocket Guide? Well, one, it fits in my to-go bag, which is when I do most of my embroidery, when I'm on the road or on an airplane. And the other thing is it's packed full of 30 stitches. It also talks to you about what kinds of fabrics to choose to do your embroidery. And so what we have here is we've got the feather stitch here, we've got the single feather, we've got the outline stitch, and then we've got the pistil and stamen stitch. And then these are a couple of silk flower stitches that I just finished. So you can see there's a lot of variety here. And another example I can show you, if you're really new to embroidery and you're really nervous about what to do and you don't want to make it up on your own, this is a piece of fabric from Valerie Wells. And I did this years ago, but I save it because it's a good reminder of how I started. And all I did was, it's like coloring with thread and floss. I just filled in the lines and I practiced my stitches. So this would be a satin stitch. This is the outline stitch or the stem stitch. And these are little chain stitches. So you can see that you can take something and just color it in with thread, and that's a great way to start and build your confidence with your embroidery. I've got my glasses on because I can't stitch without them, and I'm going to show you how to do a couple stitches. She walks you through, she shows like 2 lines, and then where you start at point A, where you go down at point B, you come up at point C, and then you repeat, and then you get this stitch for as long as you want. And then she tells you how to end it at point F. And I'm going to go up at D, so I'm going to stick the needle in, and I'm going to pop up, and that's too far. I'm going to pop up, I'm going to pull the thread, not easily, around the needle so that I catch it, and then I'm going to pull up right here, and then you can see I've made that little loop. And then I'm going to show you how she does it in the picture, but I'm left-handed, so I'm just going to take my right hand. And the nice thing about this book is that you can keep referring to it, because I don't often remember how to do stitches. There's some basic ones that I know how to do that I always remember, like the chain stitch, but other ones I have a hard time remembering. So the nice thing about this little book is that I don't have to remember. I just have to know what page it's on in the book or be able to find it. Like I showed you, you just follow the directions in the book. You go up and down, and like I said, if you don't always remember a stitch, that's the great thing about the pocket guide, is it's always there for your reference. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the chevron stitch, and it's a combination of a stitch going up and a stitch going vertically like a straight stitch. So here are the instructions. You come up at A, you go in at B and right out at C. Then you make your vertical line and you go in at D, out at E. Then you do the same with F to make sort of the top to the stitch, and then you go down and you start it again. Now I'm left-handed, so when I look at these instructions, the first thing I realize is that it's going to cause me to have to hold my hand at a weird angle. I'm going to do that for the stitch, but then as a left-handed person, just something to know, a lot of times you can, if it's a stitch that's complicated, you can photocopy it and flip it over, and then it's easier to do the stitch, or you can turn it upside down, which is what I frequently do. But I'm going to work the stitch the way it's shown in the instructions this time. And I've just come out at F, so I am going to come down and then work my needle sideways, which is easier to say than to do. And I'm going to pop in and then back out. Well, actually, I'm just going to go down because that's easier for me. And then I'm going to come back up. So now I'm back at A. And then I'm going to go in and right back out so I can create the bottom of the stitch. Just like that. And then I'm going to go back up and I'm going, so then I'm going to go in at D and right back out at E. And that is how you do the chevron. If you are interested in embroidery at all, I would take the time to check out the Embroidery Stitching Handy Pocket Guide, and you can see all the great things that are included. As I mentioned, she talks about stabilizer, threads and ribbons. She's got some wonderful illustrations and photographs in here, and just some beautiful silk ribbon embroidery, and she gives you some tips and techniques for all the different kinds of things you can do. She also talks about how to add embellishments, which is really nice and as far as buttons. So I love working with the Handy Pocket Guide. I take it with me whenever I'm doing embroidery, and you should too. And the other thing is, I would love to see what you're working on. So if you could reach out to us and send us what you're embroidering on Instagram or Facebook, our hashtag is Embroidery Stitching Handy Pocket Guide. Yes, I know it's a long one, but I really would love to see what you're working on. I follow a lot of people on Instagram who do embroidery, and I'd like to follow you too. Thank you.